I just meant my like previous reference. I meant when I said in another film that kind of the demon head twist kind of thing would be cool. But I know exactly what it's referencing, so I hate that.
Yeah, exactly.
But by the time it gets to this hell and release choice that they're making, I didn't really get what it was trying to say beyond that. It was just kind of a mean-spirited thing to do. It didn't seem like it set up the narrative properly for that to be an interesting concept or philosophy or whatever it's doing.
Yeah, it's like the only sadistic thing that it does in the movie, which is bizarre because like the original movie is filled with crazy things of like, what if a girl masturbated with a cross and it was sacrilegious and it was disturbing? What if these little girl said these incredibly sexual things? Which is
There's nothing
one of the
even
things
close
I was
to that in this, right? Am I wrong?
I was blown away that this movie
it's not even
it was recreating all of the things.
It's crazy.
No, it's not transgressive at all, which is like the key.
What the fuck? Yeah, like it watching like Linda Blair say that shit when she's, you know, whatever she was, 12 or something. Like it's there's a shock to it, and there's also it comes from like, again, that authentic fear of God and the devil that William Peter Blatty has. You can't get that.
Blatty has a great one in the third one, which is the one where it's the little murdered boy, right? And it does that thing where it does kind of like the racial element with the stuff on his face, and he's coming up out of hell on the cross, and like he's like Jesus, and like there's some crazy transgressive imagery that like, you know, would upset Catholics, right? Because it's sacrilegious.
But he's doing it because he's so honest about it too. Like, and there doesn't even feel like an authentic, like there's no honesty in this. It feels like people, and I get, you know, they're probably not Catholic. I mean, it's Danny McBride and David Gordon Green. I'm sure they're not.
But those guys do the Righteous Gemstones. If there's guys who should be making fun of or critiquing Catholics or getting into that universe, like these guys, like
more of it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. The second idea, which I forgot to get to, is what if The Exorcist wasn't Catholic anymore?
Yeah. It's like a universal, where all religions come together to get rid of this one demon. So I guess, like, I don't even know how that makes sense. So it's like, where does this? So is the demon a universal demon? Is God even a thing anymore? Like, you have to at least have that religious structure for this to make any fucking sense. Like,
what if the most iconic Catholic guilt movies of all time didn't have Catholic guilt in it? It would suck.
The fuck?
There you go.
Yeah, I know now.
I know what that would be like.
By the end, I should be feeling bad about myself because I grew up Catholic and I understand the fear that you just can't quite get rid of because it was drilled inside of you. Yeah. And I felt none of that here.
And part of me gets it. Part of me is like, look, in the modern movie landscape, there's a certain level of people who would like to be a little bit more inclusive, and there's things that are slightly reactionary about the idea of the original Exorcist. But here's the thing. Those movies could be read that way, but they were also picketed by Catholics for a reason.
Exactly.
You know, because it's doing two things at the same time. It provoked people.
Right.
And my main takeaway watching this movie is, could you imagine having to go up and explain to the recently passed William Friedkin, RIP to a legend, that you made an Exorcist movie with the express intent of not provoking anybody because you wanted to be inclusive and you wanted to do this, the religious friends we made along the way through a joint non-specific exorcism that included all religions.
Yeah.
And honestly, I actually think if you tried to explain that to, like, maybe we should have had a rabbi exorcist or something like that. I get the instinct, but I don't think like people don't have the same cultural ideas about that. This is a deeply Catholic idea.
Right. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It literally doesn't. And they do make some attempt by having the opening prologue take place in Haiti instead of Iraq, because they want to bring up this idea of, you know, some of the concept of the living dead and zombies, and, you know, there is a sort of voodoo history there. And if you want to explore that, for sure. I think they could have incorporated that, and they could have tried to, you know, write their way around how.
Sure, because there's even in the original they have an implication
but make
that
it
the
Catholics
Ouija board
and voodoo or something. But like this idea of it's everyone, and at the end, what if we had an Avengers style team up of world peace of religions, all being like Jesus works through all of us.
Yeah,
which is honestly, I think, an offensive idea.
Yeah, wouldn't it be? That's the thing. It's like, aren't you going to offend more
you're going to have a Jewish rabbi show up and Christ is working through him too? Fuck you.
Yeah, that doesn't make it. Yeah, it's so stupid. It really has done the opposite of what they intended by doing that. You're spot on.
That's the only. I think we're accidentally making this sound more entertaining than it is. This is the only marginally entertaining aspect of the entire film, which is, I think, why we're drifting towards it, is how hilariously poorly thought through the attempts to be like the modern, and I using this in quotes so no one gets mad, but like the wokercist or the
for sure.
Again, I have no issue with people revamping movies or doing different styles of movies and adding some representational stuff for people who weren't allowed to be in movies decades and decades ago.
Like most of that
no problem with that.
Most of those
you also have to think it through though.
Yes.
Like Ellen Burstyn's girl boss patriarchy monologue where she's like, I wasn't allowed in the exorcism room because I don't have a dang penis. That's why.
Yeah.
And then and like you can do that if you want. I think it's stupid. That's fine. I don't think that was my read of the original film, but if you want to do that, fair enough. Make her the badass exorcist woman now, whatever. But then they fuck that up.
Yeah.
They put her in the exorcism room and have her immediately gruesomely blinded. And I was like, this is elder abuse. This is just elder abuse. I mean, to be fair, Ellen Burstyn, she agreed. She shot 2 days. Apparently, she took the huge salary she got off this movie because they fucking bought the rights to these movies for $400 million, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And she took that money and she apparently donated it all to a grant fund for an acting school that's local to her or she cares about, which is beautiful.
So she didn't even want to do it, right?